The whole entry of women into Xavier changed the complexion of the place.
I want to say how much my life has been enriched by my time at Xavier and continues to be.
From the Women's Center, from the various leadership positions on campus, from the added creativity and questioning who we are as people, who we can be, and who we serve, all has been helpful and highlighted and enhanced by the presence of women on campus.
A moment like this, I think, is a chance to look back and look forward, to see where we've come by looking back, and by looking forward to see where we have yet to go. So I think that this anniversary year will have both of those dimensions to it.
In 1831, as the city of Cincinnati was expanding on the banks of the Ohio River, the Catholic Church founded the Athenaeum. Its primary purpose was to provide college education to men in the areas of liberal arts and religion. The Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, took over the school in 1840 and continued the all-male tradition for another 74 years.
It's clear that we began admitting women at Xavier in 1914 when we established summer programs, especially for women religious in the community. And the first graduates of Xavier University were women religious.
Over the next few decades, Xavier began admitting women through the evening college, summer classes, and a co-educational graduate program.
So women have been a part of Xavier for much longer than 40 years. But the formal introduction of women in the undergraduate day college is 1969.
There were a number of reasons Xavier decided to discontinue its 138-year-old single-sex undergraduate admission policy, but the primary reason was to enhance Xavier's learning environment. 52 women were admitted as full-time day students in the fall of 1969. Patty Burke was part of that group, though she actually started her Xavier career in the evening program in 1966.
Some of the men were not really too happy to see us there. Their position was they had come to an all-male institution, and clearly we didn't belong there.
I really don't remember, any discussion or great buildup about it. I was accepting of it, sure, and there was a lot of change going on in 1969.
The more you got involved, and the more you made friends, and the more you got to do things, I gotta say, as the years went on, I enjoyed it.
A lot of things began to change at Xavier. In 1972, Xavier opened Breen Lodge, which became the focal point for programming which addressed a wide range of women's topics.
The focus was, of course, the transition of women, the whole feminist movement, feminist theology, all the things that flux that was going on, and supporting those activities and supporting the women here at Xavier.
Another area that took on a new dimension was athletics.
We started a basketball program pretty much from scratch and went around and, just put up flyers and said, come out and play, and you really didn't have to try out. There were no scholarships. We had no budget. Our t-shirts were, the numbers were sewn on by Marcia's mom for our uniforms.
When Xavier admitted women as full-time day students in 1969, there were only 2 full-time women faculty members. Today, there are more than 150. Biology professor Linda Fink has taught at Xavier since 1976.
At the time that I came, there was a sprinkling of women, but to me it wasn't particularly noteworthy that I didn't have women colleagues. I didn't really notice that much because there were so many women around, and many of them were students, of course.
I chose Xavier because of its academic excellence, and particularly because I wanted to be in the pre-med program. But at that time, women were well accepted by the students here. I mean, I heard rumblings about whether or not all the alumni were happy with that choice, but it never affected what was going on campus.
A historical development at Xavier was the addition in 1980 of a second campus and a 4th undergraduate college, Edgecliff College. Founded in 1935 by the Sisters of Mercy as a women's liberal arts college, Edgecliff brought with it 45 years of dedication and academic excellence. In 1985, the Edgecliff campus was sold and all programs were moved to the main campus. In 1999, Alumni Hall was renovated and renamed Edgecliff Hall as a physical presence of the legacy of Edgecliff College.
When the purchase came up, it was, I think it was very difficult for the students, and it was very difficult for the alumni. But we knew, the faculty knew, that it was absolutely necessary, that we would not have been able to stay in operation. Social work was one field that I think Xavier did not have. And nursing, art, music, those all came from Edgecliff. Now that's not to say Xavier did not have some courses in those areas, but the departments came from Edgecliff and grew by far here.
Breen Lodge closed in 1980, though the discussion of women's issues on campus continued. Then, in 2007, Xavier established the Women's Center, devoted to advocacy, resources, and education focusing on women, girls, and gender.
It's not just about creating equality for the students, it's about training students to seek gender equity in the work that they do. And that women's centers are the places where we can pursue the thinking and the action that goes into pursuing what we would envision as a valued world for both women and men.
Today, the extraordinary women of Xavier continue to use their talents to help the university grow, become more diverse, and advance our Jesuit mission.
In the time that I've been on Xavier's campus as a faculty member, we have periodically examined the role that women play and tried to understand the extent to which women faculty feel valued for their role. And I can say that I have never felt that I wasn't valued as an equal member with everyone else on campus.
It was always important for me to never always attend an all-black high school or an all-girls high school. I wanted the best of both worlds. I definitely received the exposure to a wide variety of backgrounds when I attended Xavier University.
Certainly I knew that when my mom came to Xavier, she was, one of the only women, maybe a handful, who were here at the time. But I certainly knew by the time I was starting at Xavier that was not the case any longer, and that wouldn't be an issue. And of course it was not an issue.
I am a native of Cincinnati, and so therefore I didn't even look at Xavier or UC for that matter, because I didn't want to invite the possibility of staying in town. And so on a whim, I actually did visit Xavier and fell in love with it. Seeing the campus, like I said, seeing how the students were interacting with each other, they were so, close and so warm and welcoming, and I knew that this place would be just like that for everyone else.
I think understanding the impact of the women that came before us helps us understand what has been tried, what has been successful, but more importantly also helps us understand that we are strong, we are resourceful, there is promise, and there is hope.
So what we've seen is a transformation in the profile of the whole university, understanding an important role that Xavier has to play in relating with women, in relating with minorities, in relating with various groups in society. So Xavier is a much more open, much more dynamic institution today than it was before it went fully co-ed in '69.